Live. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Google Hangout of this week for the Midas Touch Book Club. Today, the Midas Touch Book Club. What is the Midas Touch? It's a book where leading experts reveal their secrets to winning big and in life. The past few weeks, we've been talking to the authors of the book, and today we are happy to talk to Sarah Sanchez about her chapter, The Power of Choice. Hi, Sarah.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining.
And we have with us, joining us is Lady Christopher.
Greetings.
We have Joshua Crab.
Hello.
And Ivan Nosa. Hi, Ivan.
Hello.
So I've read the chapter, and I loved it. I love choice. I love choice. I found out about choice a few years back myself. You had such a great, powerful way of talking about it. And I love it when I read something and then they give me a definition. What does the dictionary say? So I just feel like reading it. So the Merriam-Webster dictionary says the act of choosing is the act of picking or deciding between two or more possibilities. And what's interesting to me is that you can also have choice in one possibility. Like you can have one situation where it feels there's no possibility, I have no choice, but you always have choice.
Right.
And I really enjoyed that. And I was saying offline, I'm Canadian, and we in Canada don't have the same culture about the army and war. What do we call it, Joshua? The culture of war.
Culture of war.
Yeah. We were talking about that, and I was impressed that I was going to be talking to a veteran, and I just feel like saying thank you for bringing this to light in my eyes, because like I said, to me, veterans are on TV. I feel like an idiot saying that, but like I never had an actual person in front of me, and that kind of like brought it to life for me, and it's gotten me to see how, yes, you took that choice. You made that choice of putting your life in danger for other people. And I want to thank you.
No problem. And thank you for the awesome introduction. I think I could start with saying that, like we talked before, the culture of war, yes, is very much different. There's in the States, it is glamorized. Like Joshua said, it is put to another level. And right now, we are losing more veterans a day to suicide and other things versus the actual war itself. When I first started, the only thing I wanted to do was pay off school loans and maybe do something for my country. I had no intention of going overseas and doing all these things. So growing up, my path, or as I saw my journey, was I'm going to do right by my family because these are culturally the things that I was enthralled in. This is what I grew up in. In a Spanish family, everything in my Spanish family, I should say, I can't say for every family, my Spanish family is a lot like, if you've ever watched the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, you'll get an idea. Everything is about family. Everything is about What are we doing? When's the next time we're going to eat? When's the next time we're going to do this? When's the next time we're going to do that? Everything is very tight and close-knit and conservative, very much conservative. So, I grew up in a Catholic school. So where did I learn to wear a uniform? All throughout Catholic school. Where did I learn to keep, things tidy and organized? Okay, here's what you have. This is the list of things you have. Here's your path. This is what you're going towards, and this is how you will be managed. So it was my career choice, and going into the military, it almost seemed to just fit with everything else. And when I came back home from overseas, nothing fit. Absolutely nothing fit. And I kept saying to myself, why can't I do as a civilian what I was doing as a uniformed personnel? What is the struggle here? Where am I going with this? And I had a lot of guides, a lot of angels. I had a lot of people who actually wanted to help. I had gone through so many things, a depression. I had gone through the VA to try to get the help that I needed. And like many Americans today, and I say Americans because I can't speak for the rest of the world, but I know that there are a lot of, the healthcare culture is very much different. So what do? Okay, take these pills, you'll be better. Stay on them for months and months and months, and possibly years if you can't get better. Okay, so I'm thinking that all these things that are keeping me in line are going to help. It wasn't until one day I woke up and I can't live like this. There has to be another thing. There's something else. There's got to be another choice I have to make for myself. And that's when I started to branch out and started seeking meditation, spiritual guidance, being able to listen to some of these intuitive things, seeking help from friends who had a really good. I would surround myself by people. They say the 5 people you surround yourself with in life, you start to become how those people are. I would try to find those people who, what makes it different for them? What am I doing that I need to stay on guidance with them to see how I can turn my life around? And I started seeing people who were making these decisions and big choices that didn't necessarily fit into the stereotype of what the rest of society was doing. These guys were making huge business risks. Why? Because, hey, we can. Or, hey, you know what? We're going to hang out over here. Well, don't your parents care what you're doing? Now, we live our own life. Oh, wait a second. I could totally do this too. Like, I'm grown now. Like, I don't have to have that conservative. And when I say conservative, I just mean in thought process, I have more ways of being me than I actually knew or gave myself the credit to be able to move in that direction. So coming out of the military, yeah, that transition, a lot of soldiers get stuck in. Here you go. Like Joshua said, they let you kind of come out of the cattle chute and you're free. If you need help, just go ask those people over there. They'll help you out with something. Here, I need help, but I don't need drugs, or I don't need, whatever you're going to give me. I just need to be told that I can make these choices. I can go above and beyond what I initially thought. I'm allowed to do that now. And I think after I started dating my wife, there were so many things that I had boxed in and I had these ideas about. And she says, you're allowed to think opposite of what you're thinking. Your train of thought is very narrow, right? Because that's how I knew how to do things. Oh, well, this is how I do things, and this is what's supposed to happen, right? Well, no. No, you have so many other varieties of things that are available to you that I never even thought of coming back down to earth to ground myself, to say, oh, wait a second. I can be upset about these things. I can be happy about these things. I can go on and live a fuller life. So if that kind of gives you a background of choice, I hope I explained it a little bit better. For me personally, and I know that there are people out there, millions of people out there, who are stuck in that rut of, I have no other way out. I just don't know what else to do. What am I supposed to do? But they forget that they have that. They forget that it could be so simple.
Yeah, they forget that they're the ones thinking the thoughts
right.
that are limiting them to where they're at this point.
Absolutely.
And only when you, like, I love your journey. It kind of reminds me of mine, because I don't know if you listened to my Google Hangout where I was in a business. I was working for a company for like 10 years, and day in and day out, I would drive there and I'd be like totally miserable. Like everybody on the way there was an idiot, and everybody in the office was an idiot, and I was upset with them because I had to go to work, and yet I was the one making that choice every day of still going to work. And the second that I made the choice to, no, that's it. There has to be something else. I can't be miserable. Can't be been put on this earth to be miserable all the time.
Right, exactly. And the culture, you can turn on the TV today and you will see how to get better with any type of pill that might make you feel worse, how to pay off debts but get into more debt, so borrow more to pay off less. The culture is very narrow-minded in, okay, you can watch all these commercials and all these things that we're inundating with ourselves, and people are saying, yeah, okay, I can trust this, I can trust that. And in reality, instead of trusting themselves and saying, you know what, I might not need to do this, I might not need to, even down to, I might not need to eat this, or I might not need to drink that, you get inundated with everything else, that all the noise, all the background noise. And we try to teach my son, honey, you need to listen to what is inside. You need to listen to what's here first, because if you don't do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. Don't have a fear of making your own decisions and trying to guide. Now, a young teenage boy, there's so many things that we have to go over, but it's the thing of listening to that intuitiveness, listening to your intuition, listening to, okay, you know what, I have choices now, so that way he doesn't get stuck in the rut of, when he gets older, he's stuck in a career that he can't stand. Or the last thing we want, for the next generation is to be following in some of these footsteps of, oh, I have to buy this to be okay. All the material things, and then they're inundated. No, you have the choice to be okay and to not have all this stuff. Minimalistic living. I hadn't done it all my life because I saw my parents fight for everything they had. And I said, okay, that's the way that's supposed to be. Well, then I moved into my own apartment, and when I moved out of the house, I was like, wow, I really don't have that much stuff, and I'm okay with that. I started to take small pieces of things that I could donate or to give away, or to keep the clarity of my choices open, to keep those options open, because sometimes, again, it could come out from anywhere. In work, like you said, that could come from anywhere, and then all of a sudden you're harboring hate, right? But you forgot that you have the choice. You can get rid of some of these things, and it's okay. It's okay. And it's okay to be okay with the choices that you make. It's okay to be okay with the choices that you make. That was one of the things that, and my mother, my wife had said, you guys have to be okay with what you do, because this is your life. This is how things are, if you want the things to look a certain way for you, put in the work, and it's going to take a little bit of work, but it was the unwinding of all the training. It was unwinding the thought process of, you know, A and B to get to C. No, no, no. Sometimes you can go straight to Z and be okay. That's all right. People are doing it so differently nowadays, and that's okay. It's all going to be just fine. So it's an unwinding process, and it takes a while. I luckily have had the support of family, friends, and like I said, the spirit guides. I just know that the people that have passed before me are surrounding me, and I'm okay with that. Hey, you know, that little intuition, like, it's all right. You can go ahead. These things are okay. All right, I'm gonna go with that because, you know, they say your gut does not lie, and that is one of the things that I have found. Working against your gut all these years, and then all of a sudden being able to work with it, it's like, oh, whew, I don't feel the depression. I don't feel anxiety. I don't feel the agita that people get sometimes. So it's like, okay, I'm good with this, and I have to be good with this. And surrounding myself with people who allow me to be good with those things as well. Because a lot of those, the people I had before in my life, I'll go ahead and say it was a toxic relations. And until you can shake toxic relations and realize I might have a friend for 20 years, I can no longer help you. Letting that go sometimes is the best thing for them and for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not putting yourself on a higher level or lower level. It's not about levels. It's I just can't put towards what you need to get what we need as a whole. It's the relations. It's making things work for people around you and surrounding yourself with good people.
Let me ask you, Sarah. Um, did you go through, like, I know for myself, I went through a process where I had to dig deep and really see what was important to me. Like almost like I had to go to the core values in order to be able to let go of that kind of thing. I had to look inside me and get clear on what was important to me. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm animals are important to me, earth is important to me. And you know, and as I got clear about, like, okay, earth is important to me, okay, well then why am I doing this? This is kind of like competing with what I truly want.
Right. Right. Okay, so the process that I actually went through started with a group of women, and we have really branched out about 2000, I believe it was 2012, 2013 timeframe. We call ourselves Soul Tribe, and the basis of Soul Tribe is, and what we do is we let women, and so far it's been a women-specific group because that's kind of how it started, but we let people come together in these groups, we form up, and we talk about the things that hurt, the things that we're trying to work on. How do you define yourself? Are you a mother? Are you a stepmother? Do you just feel like a cook sometimes? Do you feel like a maid sometimes? Do you feel like a hard worker just sometimes? All these labels, right, that we've fixed ourselves with, and then we take it back to the core. Like you said, Jasmine, you know, you had to go like look inside yourself. Well, the pinnacle of this group basically is you have no choice but to look inward. So the work inward started. We would get together on Skype or Zoom, which is another Skype type program. Every week we would talk about things that happened that week. How can we improve ourselves? What really hurts deep down inside to us? and how can we make things better for us? Now, I just did a radio show 2 weeks ago about selflessness versus selfishness,
Mm.
and it was very interesting. It was very interesting because when you start to do the work in yourself, you'll notice, and especially if you're in toxic situations, you will notice people around you will either start acting different or distance themselves. You'll notice even close friendships, you might not talk to a friend for a few months who you talk to every day. When you start doing that inner work, everything else kind of shuts out. You put yourself in the bubble of, okay, I have to start from ground zero. I have to start here because now I've gotten so far into maybe what other pressures are, and I can't get out. I can't breathe. And people often associate anxiety with, I feel like I have an elephant on my chest and I can't breathe at night and I have panic attacks and this and that. And so all these other physical things start to happen because you're not taking care of the inward. So the process for me was reaching out to this group of ladies and just talking about feelings. What are you feeling? We don't want to know how anything else in your outside world is affecting you. We want to know what is it that's inside of you right now, at this very moment, in the present. What are you feeling? How are you doing? What are you doing for yourself to get ahead? And until you do that inside work, you can't go help somebody else out. They tell you all that time. Until you do the work yourself, you can't help somebody else. If you don't have a tractor to help your neighbor mow, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Sarah, I have a quick question for those
Yeah.
that are watching that might really be relating to you that are women, and they would like to join your Soul Tribe group. How might they do that?
Okay, you can get a hold of me on my Facebook page, and what I will do is, I have just a regular Facebook page, nothing special. Sarah M Sánchez, I believe, is it's just my name. The head, Jen Kronberger, she is a motivational speaker. Philadelphia's #1 motivational speaker for 2015, I believe. She's one of my best friends, and she started this group, like I said, about 2 years ago. And she speaks all over the country. She's always making stops everywhere. She started out as a coach in high school. She was very much into athletics. She's from New Jersey, or excuse me, New York. And
What's her name?
Jen Kronberger. She's actually on my page. She has her own book called These 5 Words, and she's the head of the group. So we just have, like, in our area, we just cater to small groups on the weekends and do events and do some speaking there with them. So if anybody needs to get a hold, they can just go straight to my Facebook page, send me a little message, and I can give you all the information there. But she's great, and like I said, she caters to everybody. It's not just now Soul Tribe happens to just be a women's group, but she has done all types of speaking engagements forever. She actually has a TEDx video that she had done not too long ago. I believe it was last year or the year before. So just come in contact with me on Facebook, and you'll be able to see where she's at. I can send you all the details. So go ahead.
Can you post that on our Facebook page, the link or something too? Because I think that would be great. I think we all probably know, some folks that could utilize that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, she's a great motivational speaker. We have a radio show that we do every Monday, and we try to put out our radio show Mondays or Tuesdays of the week, just to kind of get your week started. And I can send you all the link after this, so that you can hear the past radio shows. So, but like I said, it all goes back to the inner self. Unless you truly work on that, and I think the best part about that for me was I had to learn not to be scared. I had to learn
Coming
not.
from a soldier.
I had to learn not to be afraid of what I might find.
Yeah.
Because if you fear, you really have to look at a lot of things. So I found, okay, I am not taking the time for these things. I'm stretching myself too thin. I'm indulging in way too much alcohol. Um, Alcohol plus whatever, synthetic drug the VA was willing to pump into me. I thought I was on the right track. I was lying to my therapist. So now I've come home. I'm doing all these things. I was lying to my therapist, and lying to your therapist, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. So I'd come home and I'm like, oh, because I really didn't want to talk about that certain event. Well, who are you trying to help? Oh, so it's you really have to get into the dirty of the dirty for you and not be afraid of it.
Sarah,
And
do
not
you
be afraid.
remember the moment that you actually had that epiphany, that moment where you were, oh my God, I have a choice. I chose to do that. I can now, in my situation, in the box I'm in, I can make a choice outside of the box. Do you remember that actual moment?
I do, and it was after I watched The Secret for about the third time. I watched The Secret in 2000, and it was in the earlier 2000s. As soon as it came out, I was actually part of this group, and I was watching parts of it, but I wasn't really paying too much attention to it. And then I had come home and I watched it, and I was just like, and not to be, disrespectful, it was like, well, there's that shit, whatever, right? Because I'm not paying attention. I'm not paying attention to what's going on. I have so many other things in my head. I thought I was above all these things. And then the third time I watched it with my wife, and I went, oh, I better go look for this that I just threw out again, because I really am missing, a vital piece of my existence by not listening to all these things around me. And I mean, everything in my life at that point was at its highest volume. It was at its highest volume. I could cut all the tension with a knife. I mean, I was not a person that anybody wanted to spend time with. I didn't have the good energy where I needed to be. And then all of a sudden, it hit me in the throat. Right in the throat, and I said, I'm doing all the wrong things here. I'm doing all the wrong things here. But it was the best train wreck that I ever had. It was the absolute best train wreck, because not only does it hit me in the face, but then my wife was like, well, it looks like we have some work to do, and that's okay. And that's okay, because she's my life partner. So I lucked out in having a life partner that can say, okay, we're going to come back to this, because we now need to look at what is it that we're missing. What is it that we're missing? We need to slow down a bit and then do the steps, whatever it takes to make this yuckiness go away. Okay, let's do that, because I really need to get out of this right now. Let's do that. So, like I said, it was about the third time I watched The Secret. It was pretty much the lucky charm. And then, after that, what I would do is I would have my Netflix account open at night, and I would go to sleep with that on. So that it just played for maybe about 6 months every night. Turn it on. All right, going to sleep. All right, see you later. And that converted a lot of things for me. So.
Well, Sarah, I got to say, it's amazing, just absolutely amazing listening to you, and and I'm like really drawn in when you're speaking, and a lot of it is that you're drawing me in. And there's so many things that on my personal level, I relate to what you're talking about. Okay. You know, I grew up and I was like a free spirit growing up, you know. I was this ball of light. Some things happened, my light kind of got, you know, suppressed some, but I was so independent. And then I went in the military to pay for college. Plain and simple, that was it. I went in to pay for college, and I thought I needed to define who I was. And of course, that's what the military does. They define you. They put you in that box, right?
Exactly.
And I felt kind of comfortable in that box. It's like, oh, yeah, I finally know what my purpose is. But it wasn't my purpose. No. And it took me over 20 years of going through, jumping from job to job, doing things, you know, that I was a medic in the Army because I didn't want to have to kill anybody. That was my number one rule going into the Army was I want to be I want a job where I don't have to kill anybody. So I became a medic and I was helping people. And, you know, that was great. And then I got out of that and I became a school teacher. And I love teaching and I love doing that. But nothing ever felt like I was still trying to be in this box and go through that. And, you know, years and years and years and years. And for me, my breakthrough was, about 3-4 years ago now that I realized, and I'm hearing you talk too, is that I realized that I created that box. I allowed that box to be created for me. It was, like you say, the choice. I chose to let somebody put me in that damn box. Yep. And a few years ago, I decided there is no box.
Right.
So I don't have to think outside the box. I don't have to move outside the box because there's no damn box anyway.
Right.
So, you know, I hear you talk and it's like, oh my God, you're talking to me. And I guarantee that people will listen to this, and as they're listening, they're going to be saying the same thing. Addictions. Oh my gosh. I mean, we try to hide ourselves in addictions and do those types of things. And when you break through that, you get rid of that, and you say, all right, enough of the bullshit. It's done. You know, and you have those times, and I feel like I'm all over the place right now because I'm thinking of everything that you said, and it's like surrounding yourself with the right people. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely true. And I'll tell you, like, these Google Hangouts for me are one of those surrounding myself. You don't know how much I look forward to these. I absolutely love these, and I feel that energy. Oh, go ahead.
I have a question, Sarah. First of all, let me say that your chapter is one of the most touching from the book, I think, or at least for me when I read it. And now I listen to you talking, I do understand why it was so touching, because you probably have put all your soul into that chapter. And let me ask you, now, how far do you feel from the person you were at the time?
Okay, that's a good question. I feel so much more human than I've ever felt in my life. There's this joke in the States. It's kind of a running joke of, you know, the military, for people who don't necessarily agree with the military, they're going to turn you into a robot. They're just a bunch of robots. It's not far off. It's not far off. They really do have a way of training you to desensitize a lot of things. So that way, when in your training, when you get overseas and you're being shot at, you're not jumping at every bullet or everything, you know, whizzing by. They don't want you to jump. You need to stand firm, so that way you can help out whomever. So when I came back home from overseas, that's when I felt the most alien. That's when I felt the most apart from my soul. That's when I felt the most desensitized to everything that surrounded me. Um, it didn't matter. I mean, I just had a very different vision at that point in time. And like Josh was saying, you really put yourself in this square and you build it nice and tight with the corners very, very much square, and you make sure nothing is out of place. So that way, if somebody comes to knock on that door, it is stealthily closed. It is closed so that you don't catch feelings and that you can manage to do whatever mission without the outside noise. But what I forgot was I was noise before. I was human before. I was soul before. And until I started doing the work and saying, oh, you know what? I really got myself into some shit. Until I said to myself that I have to work on these things, guess what? I have to open my door, and then screw by screw, I got to take that entire square down, nail by nail, whatever it takes, because I have to be human again. And part of that was, I'll tell you a funny story. I used to go into Walmart, and when I'd go into Walmart, I had a mission. I had all these things on my list. Go in, get what you need, and get the hell out. There's no time for eye contact. And people would say, hey, Sarah, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? I got to go. I got to run. Because now the culture of busyness comes out, right? So it's like, oh, I'm busy. I got to do this. I got to do. And we all know somebody, who just is way too busy for life. It just happens. There are those people who are just too busy. So I would go in, and I'd say, okay, and it wasn't until a cashier had come and she looked me in my eye. How are you doing today? Wait, this was not on my list of things. I wasn't supposed to be I wasn't supposed to be making any eye contact. I've got business to do. I'm coming in. I gotta make a run. And it wasn't until that point I realized I'm not humaning. What am I doing? She's another human being. Notice her. She gave you the time to say hello. How are you doing? In general concern, just like, hey, I see you. I see you. And it wasn't until that time that I realized, okay, I really have to take a step back. And I remember coming home and like, I think it was probably my mom or yeah, hey, how's it going? Did you get everything you needed? Yeah, actually I did. Okay. Are you good? Oh, yeah, I'm okay. And I went into my room and I had to think to myself, am I good? What am I doing? There was another soul speaking to me who I thought, again, I was above, and I had to bring myself down to say, wow, I'm doing this wrong. So then I started to say, okay, I need to branch out. Every place I go, whether I'm walking in or walking out, take a second, and if somebody looks you in the eye, how you doing? How's it going? Good. Nice to see you. Okay. You can keep moving and be okay with people. Make eye contact. It's those little things. I'm so far from the person that I was once I came out in 2008 that if I look at that person, totally foreign. It's a complete turnaround. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with looking at pictures and saying, oh my God, what was I thinking? Like, I am totally all right with seeing somebody completely different because I know I've done the work and I continue to do the work every day. It's not just I woke up and this is okay. It's I have to wake up every day to know that I'm okay. What's today's mission, if there is? And I got to be okay in that moment. It's the present living. It's living in the present. It's getting in and remembering that we're all very much on the same types of journeys. Everybody's just looks different. Everybody's journey just looks a little bit different. So it's a matter of, like I said, I see you. When you can look at another human and say, yeah, actually everything is good today. How are you doing? So that was one of the moments where I recognized, okay, yeah, this is different, and this is going to have to be different, because unless I do this work, I'm going to be one miserable old lady. I'm going to be very miserable in my old age if I do not change this. If I do not change this now. So, thank you for the question, Ivan.
It's funny. It's like we're all just kind of soaking it up right now because it's wow. There's one piece that I wanted to say from your chapter, that just one short little line that I love this, and it actually almost brings tears to my eyes, reading this. It's like, what I choose to do was live my truth. And I think that personally, it's taken a lot for me to live my truth. And for me to make that choice, it's a daily choice. And I think if people would understand, it's not like something that all of a sudden it's like, boom, yay, I'm happy, and I'm happy all the time. It's work. And I choose every single day that I choose to be a very happy, positive person. That's what I'm about, is being happy and positive. But there are days, there are times, and it's something that, in that line, it's so apropos for me right now, today, this morning. I mean, right before the call, plain and simple, the proverbial, this morning was just kind of a rough morning, we'll just say, in the Crab household this morning. It was hectic, right? There was this weird energy going, and that energy was bringing the whole family to this, and I'm like, wait a minute, stop, time out. We need to, refocus, and we need to, well, I like to call it unfocus. Let's unfocus on what we're focused on, because it's the negative stuff. And I read that line, and it keeps, coming back. Like, I'm tingling, right? My head will tingle. I know it tingles when I'm on my correct right path and I'm saying the right things. That, my spirit guides and stuff. It's for me, it's my grandmother, and she's sitting here going like this on my head. That, it's those things, and we can get mad at other people and blame other people for making you feel the way you feel. But you know what? It's no one else but yourself. If I'm angry, if I'm pissed off or whatever, that's my fault. That's no one else's fault. That's me. So what do I have to do that? I have to make a choice. Mm-hmm. And I believe, as I've traveled down my path and as things have gone, is that the choices are actually really simple. It's when you choose not to do something. It's like you're shown what to do. Your path is laid out before you, and you can choose not to go down that path. So you can choose not to make the right choice, and whether that's the materialism, the programming, everything, in the world that, is coming down on us. And this is a worldwide thing, right? We've talked a lot about how the American military and that type of stuff, but these are the same things that are going on in the far reaches of every part of this planet. Right. And so that's your chapter. I can't get over. I'm going to read it probably 20 more times today.
Yeah, thank you. And that means a lot. That means a lot, and I understand the tingling part. I do get that. I get that often. And yeah, it is simple. And once you can figure what your truth is, once you know, that's when the work begins. It's not Oh, found my truth. Putting it in my back pocket. Heading out. See you guys later. It doesn't work like that, right? It doesn't work like that. It is tried. You're going to have to. Some people will not like your truth. Your family will question your truth. Friends will look at you different because now it looks like you're not following the same route that we were going. It's a different truth. You have to put your daily work into it.
It's
Your
almost
family.
excuse me, it's almost a great monitor when your friends or family start thinking you look differently, because that means you are actually acting differently.
Right.
So it's a good thing, because a lot of people go, oh, they're like doing this and they're treating me differently. You're like, yes, that's good. You're making the change. You're different.
Right.
So who you
Right.
want to go.
Right. And those people who can handle what your truth looks like, you'll start seeing that they're going to hang around. They're going to be the ones that are going to be the forefront, because you'll start seeing that their truth changes a little bit too, whatever that looks like for them. And then you can look at them and be happy. I used to look at my friends, and when they would start changing, I'd get jealous. And I'd get, what are you doing? What the hell is going on with you? You're changing. And that was one of my things where I had to get dirty with. I had to get downright dirty with. Why can't I just be happy for them? Oh, wait, they're changing. Maybe for something good. No, but we're all here. Everybody's right here. Well, no, Sarah, you big dummy. Everybody's not right here. You've got people all over this entire world, and you guys cannot all live on the same plane. It doesn't happen that way, and it doesn't make them better. It doesn't make you worse. It's a different way of it's just a different thought process. And like you said, Josh, when your family gets out of the out of whack energy, I totally understand that. When my son comes home and he's got some issues that he's trying to work through, that little energy throws us off. So what's the first thing we do? And he absolutely hated was, let's talk about it. Let's talk. Tell me. And don't let language affect your feeling. I want to know how you absolutely, really, absolutely feel. I need you to tell me. And that, okay, so in my household, we cuss. It just happens. We do it often, and we say what's on our mind, and that's what's it. Because I feel like we're all adults. If you can't hang, okay, that's fine too. That's where it's at. But you better tell me what's going on, because if this is something that we can all help you fix, then you can go back to living and be okay with yourself, because that's the first thing. So I didn't have that option when I was 14, 15 years old, which when I said to myself, when I'm older, if I have children, I need them to be as open as possible with me. I grew up in a Catholic church. I grew up in a very Catholic household. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my truth anymore. I do take the morals and values that I learned as a Catholic, and I do see people making moves in the church that look great for them, and I take little tidbits of that, and I'm like, that's awesome. And now I can be happy for those people who do that, instead of saying, wow, gosh, they're so rigid, they're so boring. I used to sleep in church, like I can't, Instead of thinking all of those things, I say, good for them, because that's what works for them. And I have to, that's my truth today. That's my truth today in this Google Hangout. When I leave here and I go get coffee, up the street, because I plan to meet up with my wife who works at a winery coffee shop, your truth changes. Hey, how'd the Google Hangout go? Perfect. It was awesome. I met some really cool people around, and you carry that, because you carry that good energy. You got to carry that good energy, and you got to make sure. Another thing that I do for myself now is, if I see people that I know, I ran into a friend at the store one day, and her energy, we call them the energy vampires. They come and they try to get all your good stuff, by venting and all of this, and I said, you know what? You just need to take some time for yourself. Make it work. And I cut it short. And I know she was a little upset, but you got to protect yourself in that. You got to protect yourself in that, because whatever I come home with, I have to remember I expose my family to, and whatever energy that that flows into. I could come home and be like, oh my gosh, I talked to my friend. It's all her problems then become my problems. Well, that's not my stuff. I got to leave that out. That's not my stuff. My stuff is the stuff that I pay the bills for people here. Whoever, and I tell my son that all the time. He loves it. If once you pay the bills, you can make your decisions, and then we'll go from that. And then he goes, oh, okay. But until until that vested interest in somebody comes in, you got to have good energy and make sure you give yourself enough respect to surround yourself with those people who have that good energy. Because sometimes you say, oh, I deserve these friends, these people, they keep me down. I get it. I deserve it. No, you don't. No, you don't. Keep moving. Give them good blessings about their day, and you keep moving with your good energy. Because sometimes it's that simple.
Sarah, I do that a lot, and somebody, an old friend will be going crazy, or, I always call it like their oil slick, and they're not going to get their oil slick on me. But I'm like, in my life, that crazy box for friends is so Sharpie penned in, I have no more rental space for anybody else's. So it's like, exactly, there's no judgment, it's just giving them blessings, sending them on their way. But if it's not serving you and it's depleting, then you're not offering yourself the best, because when you're at your best, as you said, your truth, and you're so beautifully authentic with it, then you can take it out and offer it to others that actually appreciate it and are in alignment to receive that. And then it's really good, and you've got a beautiful positive domino effect instead of, a citadel crumbling.
Right. And I learned the positive domino effect from my wife. When we first met, I said, are you like always this happy? You can't be real. This is a joke. Nobody is ever this happy. And the way she said, I wasn't always this happy. I said, okay, well, tell me, how did you get to this level here where it looks like you just exude happiness? And she's like, I had to surround myself with people and things that were my truth and my energy. If you're at my energy, we can have a conversation and be okay in that conversation. But she says, I started spending less time, even with some family members that she was struggling with, who had the addictions and things like that. I had to realize that is not my journey. I can help them if they need a little bit of help here and there, if they ask in certain ways that are not taxing to my energy, but I have to keep moving, because there's something else that I need to do in my journey. And this is their journey for now. That's not to say that they're going to be there for the rest of their lives. I'm going to be honest with you. I can go to the bar, I can have 2 drinks, and I'm good. Why? Because I no longer look to, I just need to swallow this energy. I don't need to do that anymore. I can have a beer or 2 and be okay with myself, with my life, and with my truth, because I no longer look to that as it's going to zap those nasty little gritty feelings. And I can be okay in that. Whereas before, it was, let me sit here for a 6-hour period and see all the things I need to swallow. I need to swallow. I need to drain. And those were the things that I would say to myself, this is helping me because I know no other way. But until I started doing those things, it was like, oh, wait, no, that's not the answer. This is not the answer here. So it's all about where you're at with that, in your truth. So, yeah, I mean, it takes work. It's not that it's not work. And you got to remind people that too. Are you ready for this? I say to people, are you ready for it? I say it genuinely because I say to people, you know, you're gonna cry, you're gonna feel, it's gonna be weird, it's not gonna be this beautiful painted picture. Um, you're gonna stumble, you're gonna fall, but unless you're absolutely ready and willing to do the work, I will be here with you every step of the way. But you got to be there for yourself every step of the way, and you just ask. So,
Sarah,
yeah.
we're getting close to the end of the hour. I know we're
Absolutely.
busting. I know we're busting for sure. um, we do have some viewers. I just wanted you to know we have some
Okay.
viewers. I did activate for you viewers. I did activate the Q&A session. So if you have a question, you just click on Ask a Question and type it in, and then Sarah will answer. The thing that I want to ask you,
Hmm.
Sarah, is what do you do right now? Like, are you like you said you ask people if they're ready? Does that mean that you're a coach or a therapist or?
I haven't put a label on it. I'm a friend. Um, I right now have no business title set up to do any coaching or anything like that. Um, People, I find that for right now, this second, if people want to reach out, they can go on my Facebook and I'll look at any issues or any questions or any comments that people may have about my chapter in the book or anything about life. I'm very open and very honest with whatever um, people kind of throw at me. I have no qualms saying that, you know, this is good or this didn't work for me so much. Um, Maybe one day I will coach.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I've been asked to speak for a few people uh, at some of the Soul Tribe events on some confidence issues and choice and stuff like that. So it's just right now it's word of mouth. It's not anything set up. And until there is the need, then I will start to really kind of market that end of it. But for right now, I'm just a friend. I'm just here on this journey like the rest of us, um, talking to people who have questions or if anything, who just want to talk. I like to talk, obviously, because I've been talking for an hour. Like, you know, it's not a big thing. I can talk to anybody anywhere.
Can
And
you,
that's ever since I was little. So,
can
you
you
know.
say, Sarah, can you say once more what's your Facebook page is so that maybe people who will listen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My Facebook page is actually just my name. If you look up my name, you'll be able to find it. And I am in Pennsylvania, Oxford, Pennsylvania, to be exact. So if you need, because I know there's probably 1,000,001 Sarah Sanchez's um, out there. um,
Oh no,
but
there's only one Sarah Sanchez.
yeah.
Yeah, we have the one.
And the actual profile picture is the picture of my wife and I. We had a pint of beer after we got married, so you'll see that little
Okay, well,
profile pic.
I have your address, Sarah. I have your specific address. It's facebook.com/Sergeant Sanchez 17. So it's
There it is.
SJT Sanchez 17.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
And I do have a note for you, Sarah, from
Okay.
Annalise. She says, right now, Sarah is helping her little sister find her truth.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. She just moved in 2 weeks ago, so we're doing some truth work for sure.
Fantastic.
And Sarah, I think it's powerful. I think it's the best job title I've ever heard. Friend.
And I love it too.
I love it. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
in my head, I'm like, that's so perfect. I love that. Nobody has that.
Nice.
That's what you
So,
need to add at the bottom of your signature, Sarah.
yeah,
Right
friend.
there, Sarah.
Yeah.
Friend.
Friend.
Okay, listen.
So I just want to say, Sarah, thank you so much. And after listening to you, this thing I always say is resonating in my head, and it's, if it's not bringing you joy, then make a new choice, right? So what,
Awesome.
if it's not bringing you joy, then why are you doing it? Make it. You can make a different choice. So Sarah, thank you so much for being with us today. You are awesome. We love you, and we're so grateful for the service you provided. But now that your journey has even like just gone so magnitude, you can see how everything happened in divine order because it positioned you in a place to help so many people, and you are a fabulous, authentic woman to share your story, to share your journey, and we are blessed to be part of it with you in the book. And we're just hugging you, hugging you, hugging you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye, Joshua. Bye, Ivan. Bye, Jasmine. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bye, Lady Christopher.
Bye, Lady
Bye.
Christopher.
I do have I have a question. Actually, I just want to finalize, just kind of like resume everything that we've talked about. I wrote down inner work. I wrote down that, you know, that's one of the main things that you talked about was exactly that, inner work. So do the work yourself. Then I wrote, surround yourself with people, and like for me, it's people that inspire me and that are aligned with what I believe is what I see. And then I also wrote down, tell the truth to yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's
Absolutely.
those are key things that you talked about. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Am I missing anything?
No, that's perfect.
I have a question that shows up for me, and I would like you to talk about it, because, you know, like we're talking about this, and we have, you know, we've been practicing quite a while, right? And I remember in the beginning when I was doing that kind of work, and I was listening to people talk about it, I'd be like, yeah, but I'm constantly failing. I fall off the wagon. Like the first time I fell off the wagon, I was like, I fell off the wagon forever, you know, until I got back on it. Right. And then, you know, when you're on it, you think, okay, I'm good. I'm good now. I don't have to do this anymore. And then you fall off the wagon again. And then, you know, so I want you to share with us, like, that aspect. Like, what happens when you slip up from this new path that you took?
Okay. For me, some of the most important things, and I can use an example. I hate working out. I'm not a huge fan of it. But about 6 months ago, I started working out at this gym, a local gym here. I started doing CrossFit. And whether you like CrossFit or not, or whether you've done it, or whether you've heard all the things about it, I had so many judgments. I had so many judgments on it, and it wasn't until I actually did the work myself that I started to find I absolutely like this. I can say I like it. All right. One of the coaches there said, you know, you've come out to the first class, and we're going to do like another introductory class, and after that class, if you like it, stick with it for 3 months. Tell me what you want to do. Tell me what your goals are, and stick with it for 3 months. Okay. Well, why 3 months? Well, because 3 months, it takes that time in CrossFit for your body to adapt the first month to some of the craziest things that I've ever done in my life. Even in the military, I'd never worked out in this style. You start to see the community. You start to work out in different classes where other people are showing up that you may not have seen in your own community. And you get to know who your coaches are to see, okay, what's going on. Okay, so 3 months. Okay, well, they say 21 days it takes to make a habit, right? Somebody came up with this research in 21 days. All right, well, this is 3 months. This is like a long-term, lofty goal. Like, you know, and I told her, I just want to lose weight. Okay, Sarah. All right. Well, do yourself a favor. Don't step on the scale. Watch what you eat a little bit better. Change some of your eating habits, not all of them. And just show up. I can do that. Okay. So I went to the first week of class. I get to the first week of class and I'm sore. I'm grumpy. I'm sweaty. I can't move. It takes everything for me to get in and out of bed. I get in the shower. I can't bend down. I can't lift my arms over my head. My muscles are all aching. And I said, okay, all she said was these 3 easy things. And I can't even get in and out of the shower. Like I can't even do all these things, right? So I'm thinking in my head, what I bit off more than I can chew. Okay. Fast forward, I'm in my 6th month. I've gained weight, but lost inches. I'm much more muscular than I was, so it doesn't matter. My eating habits are steadier. Although I fall off the wagon, I still find a point in time for myself to get back on. I say to myself, you know what, I overindulged a little bit. Okay. Let me start Monday. Okay, no problem. I have to be okay with finding a time to get back on. And the other thing, just show up. Okay, just show up. I can just show up. I can do that. So, with that being said, when you fall off the wagon, when you're taking this new journey, do yourself a favor. Make a list of those things that prep you that if you fall off, you're going to get back on. Allow yourself to fall. Because when you fall, you can see where you need to get back on. You can say to yourself, oh, you know what, this is where I failed today. It's not a failure for always. You know, your failures, your mistakes are what build that foundation. Now, depending on how much time it takes you to smooth that cement back out for that foundation, make sure you set yourself a little time cap or make your goal a little bit more attainable. Do a little bit more of the detail work so when you go back to, okay, here's where my other goal was, my goals have now changed. They look better for what I actually want. You know, I just want to lose weight. I had this idea that me losing weight was going to create my happiness. Well, no, it's not. Guess what? I gained weight and I'm in the best shape that I've been in a very long time. Now, do I have more things that I have to work on? Absolutely. But don't set your goal so high, and I know you guys have heard this before, don't set your goal so high that you spend all your days failing at trying to reach this one thing. Do your goals in a timely manner, and when you do fall off, look at where you fell off and make a quick decision on getting back on. And don't beat yourself up for falling off and failing, because there's where the working lies. There's where the working lies. Don't beat yourself up. Don't stay at that point too long, because that turns into anxiety, agita, and depression. Because people think immediately, like you said, people think, oh, gotta switch it off. I failed. I'm done. That's it. I can't anymore. I just can't carry this load. So the second week that I went back, I went 3 times. I started to feel less sore. I started to feel more like myself physically. I started to see more people in my community that I can reach out to and say, hey, you know, what are you up to? What is your job? What is your occupation? What do you do? What do you love to do? You know, not necessarily, you know, people define themselves. Well, I'm a mother, and then that's it. I'm a mom. I got all these kids, and I can't think about anything else. Okay, well, if that's where you're at, then that's where you're at. But then you start to get into the intricacies of, oh, how did you get there? All right, how's that working out for you? You start to get to know people and know their soul and that heart, and you start to see, oh, okay, this isn't so bad after all. And then that soreness in my mind that I said I couldn't do it anymore, gone. And until I get back into the swing of things again, I might be sore this week. I don't know. It's taking those steps. So my advice to people is don't set your goal so high that you can't reach, but don't set it so low that you just feel like you're stuck in the mud either. Set a goal, make it attainable, do the steps, and don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid of that part. That's where you're going to see the work come in. And better to do it on the way up than once you get up there and then you fail. And then that whole entire goal feels like it's been taken away from you. So that would be my advice to listeners. So, and just keep making goals. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I think that we just have to, I think that one of our mistakes is that we think that, okay, well, I make this decision and from now on, that's it. I'm that, you know. But we took years to be who we are right now. So we have to take into consideration that it's going to take a while. It's not like, oh, all of a sudden, you know.
Right, exactly.
Well, one of the things that I like to live by too is that, the past is a memory. That's all it is. And you can choose to have that memory define who you are, but it's not who you are. All it is a memory, and it's your perception of that memory. And that's what the crazy thing is that you may feel like you failed, but you could have 1,000 people around you see how you succeeded with it. And so it's that whole perception of the memory. And I go back to Joe Vitale's book, Zero Limits, is that erase those memories, because that's all they are. Don't let that define your now. The future hasn't happened. You set goals, absolutely set goals, but that future hasn't happened. All you have is today, the now. Right now, what are you going to do now to reach those goals and to get to that? I love what you're saying, Sarah. I love it. It's so important for people to realize that you got to release that past. You got to release those memories. You got to, move forward, or you do get sucked in.
Yeah, it's a trap.
It is.
It trap.
Absolutely is.
Yeah, but when you have the right tools, you know how to get out of that.
Yep.
So.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. Like, I already want to schedule another Google Hangout with you.
Yeah, that can definitely happen. And I'll let the listeners know. On my side, I do the Radio 97 show. So that comes out on Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on when we release it. And then they can also reach me at the Facebook page and for any other information. Don't be afraid to message me after this. I'm not that I get back to folks pretty quickly. And if I don't, just send me another message. Sometimes things get lost in translation, but definitely I am totally approachable, and whoever would like to chat, I am on Facebook. So thank you so much for inviting me. I really do appreciate it, and for your time. Ivan and Joshua, thank you so much. And Jasmine, this is amazing. You're putting together something that's absolutely amazing that can help a lot of people. Just keep doing that. Keep doing that, because this is going to work. And it is working. It's working.
Well, thank you very, very much. Guys, we don't have anything scheduled right now, but trust me, we will. I'm working on it. And I'm going to post on that page the links to get in touch with Sarah. And Sarah, we will definitely stay in touch with you. We're gonna want to invite you to some of our Google Hangouts, because
absolutely.
Totally amazing.
I want to invite you to all of our Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
okay.
real quick, I would like to propose that our Google Hangout for next month, let's choose it, or next week, let's just choose a topic and make that the Google Hangout. We don't have to, I mean, we can address stuff in the book, but I think if we do a Google Hangout next week as a topic, because there's things that I think we can look at that we talk about a lot of stuff and how to do this, but we don't go into really the hows. And that's one thing I was very happy with you, Sarah, is that you did talk about the hows. I have people approach me and say, well, how do you get to that point to where you find happiness? How do you get to that? And so I think what we could do on a weekly basis is to, with our Google Hangouts here, is let's choose a topic and then let's start incorporating in chapters as they come across. Absolutely. Just a thought.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great.
Okay, great, guys. Well, listen, Joshua and Yvonne, we can talk about, and even Sarah, we can talk about it offline. Right now, we're going to stop this live video, say goodbye to our viewers.
Thank you, guys.
Goodbye, everybody.
Take good care.
Goodbye, everybody. Love you all.
Bye.